namaste, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak R. Khemani and I am one of the co-founders of Bloom. Today, as a calendar year basis, we complete 2 full years. We complete 2 full years of the Sunday Bloom Talk Show. 2 years ago, this date, during the pandemic, the Bloom Talk Show was born. It was birthed by our founder, Payal Irani, and have crossed the 50th episode landmark, then a 1-year landmark, 100 episodes landmark. We recently touched the 104, 2 calendar year landmarks. And to celebrate that, we have not one, but 2 guests today who are joining us. Thank you, Sonia, Dawar, and thank you, Kaushik, Kumar, for joining us today on the Bloom Talk Show. Let me tell you a little bit about Bloom before I ask the speakers to introduce themselves. Bloom is a collective of 5 people. 5 people came together and said, let's plan and let's do something that will change the world in that little space where we exist. So having a cumulative experience of 200 plus years, 5 members of the Bloom team, Payal, myself, Abhijit, Premraj, and Dr. Neeta have managed to chug along this train, which started as a small chuk-chuk train and now has become an express train. We are now going at full speed, doing our little bit to change the world. In these 104 plus episodes, we have had speakers from across continents. We have had the president of the Professional Speakers of Netherlands. We have had a 4-time Olympian, a lady who represented her country 4 times in the Olympics. We've had the India World Powerlifting Champion. There have been special episodes about mental health, about wealth, about love and LGBT and gay rights. There have been people from all strata of society. There have been speakers, there have been trainers, coaches, doctors, nurses, wellness people, psychologists, psychotherapists, you name it, and they have graced our Bloom platform. Today we have 2 people who will be talking a lot about money, one in her own right where she teaches people how to create money, where to save your money, where to invest your money so that it grows. Here on the other side, we've got Kaushik, who's an entrepreneur. He's built up a digital bank. Let's learn from him what a digital bank is. However, since it is always ladies first, I would ask Sonia Dawar to take 2 minutes to first introduce herself, what she does, why she does, and she has a small presentation for us, which she will be taking us through. Over to you, Sonia. Thank you for joining us and welcome on the show.
Thank you so much, and I congratulate Bloom for completing 2 glorious years and completing so many episodes. I have got the opportunity to have a look at it, and then amazing work that you all have begun, which is now completing 2 years, and I wish you will go on for many, many more years, touching lives of hundreds and thousands of people all across the globe. So with this, hello, I am Sonia Dawar, a chartered accountant by profession and a business finance coach by passion. I have started my corporate career with working with Big Fours, where I got the opportunity to work with Fortune 100 companies. I worked in India, Singapore, got the opportunity to set up an internal audit team for a Swiss bank in Pune. And for after 5 years working with so many businesses, I've also got the opportunity to start my own practice, where I have been working with small businesses, many owned by women. And over the last 10 years, I have seen the difference, or the 2 spectrum of the society, where there are MNCs working with all the systems and processes and have scaled the businesses across the country, and also with the small business, which are the backbone of our country. But there is so much work that needs to be done here to bring the financial education for entrepreneurs and even for women on the money topics, because these are topics which are not really discussed a lot in our households. And that's when I decided that it is about time that we start changing in our whatever little capacity. And I started my education journey in teaching people on how to understand financials, how to understand numbers, how to where to invest the money and all of that. And I'm so glad, and so it is such an honor to present the topic of women, money and wealth today in this forum.
Thank you.
So with this,
Sonia.
I will share my presentation. It's a pretty long one. I will try and concise it as much as possible, but I would love to have feedback from you, because these are some hard-hitting questions we will be facing today, and to know if we know the answers, and if not, then we know what answers we need to find in our lives.
Get your tech right in 2 or 3 minutes. What we'll do is we'll ask Kaushik to introduce himself, tell us a little bit about what he does, why he does, and how and why his digital bank is different from the other banks. Over to you, Kaushik. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak. And hello, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kaushik Kumar, and I'm founder of Nublo, a lifestyle digital bank, right? And, currently we are at MVP stage, and very soon we basically will be launching from UAE, right? That's our first, first phase, launch target. I have more than 17 years of experience in banking and payments, and I have wore several hats, specifically with companies like Fiserv, First Data, MasterCard, and others. I have also had, 2 successful entrepreneurship journey where I had, built a complete US mortgage-based solution. And I happened to sell it back to Pathway Financials way back in 2006, right? Today, if you see banking, and I was, Sonia was very bang on, right? That, all the 3 facets of banking: spend, send, and save or grow, right? That's very critical for, everybody, every consumer. But today, if you see banking, while there has been a lot of advancement from a very traditional, hierarchy-based and more compliant-based bank to today, which is more of an open bank, culture. Still, from a user perspective, there are large gaps between a user expectation and between, what banking priorities are, right? So we still have a lacunae in terms of what banks provide to us versus what we perceive banks should provide to us. Yes. And that's where digital bank comes in play. Yes. When I say digital bank, it's a complete online model of banking. There is no brick and mortar, kind of structure to the bank. Yes. However, there are various types of digital bank. You have neobanks who operates, behind there is always a banking rail or a traditional bank involved. Yes. You have challenger banks, you have new banks, and then you have banks basically who are trying to be integrated within the bank itself, and then extend the experience part of it, right? So digital bank has various category. If you have heard about N26, Monzo, Revolut, these are some of the banks who are digital banks who have actually created or who have actually targeted the experience side of a consumer, and they've provided a layer on which consumer can bank at ease, convenient, and at any given point of time, right? Yes. So Nublo is trying to create the first digital bank or a lifestyle digital bank, which is completely built on blockchain, right? And, this is going to be one of the first of its kind where a technology like blockchain is utilized for a complete banking stack. Yeah. When I say complete banking stack, all the 3 facets of send, which is transfer, money transfer, spend, which is your usual spends, day-to-day spends, and grow, which is when your money actually starts growing with you. All the three facets of banking is basically covered. So that's about Nublo, and that's a brief about me.
Yes, thank you, Kaushik, for sharing. And there are so many questions which come into my mind. I'll take one or two questions and ask you, and then we will go back to Sonia, because it seems her presentation is ready to be seen, and shared. So I want to ask you this one thing. Why does a person or would want to open a bank account in a bank which is not visible, where there is no touch and feel, where I wouldn't be able to walk in and fill in a slip and get a checkbook, deposit my money and withdraw my money? Why would a person want to do that?
Very good question, right? But I think, there are several categories in which I can answer this. One is obviously the convenience part of it, which is now more prevalent in terms of the penetration of your mobile phone, right? Today, you don't care about your physical wallet. Today, you don't carry any card, any cash with you. What you need is only a mobile phone through which you can do anything and everything, specifically in the financial world, right? That is point number one. The second is the pandemic itself is a bigger answer for this particular question, right? Where you were physically not capable of visiting any branch, or even, your question about seeing a bank. You couldn't have seen a bank in those 2.5, 3 years, but you still have to do your banking services. You still have to do your financial transactions to survive. Now, let me ask you a counter question. Imagine, and I think we all are very used to pay through Google, right?
Yes.
Google Pay has become part of our lives. Yes. Imagine if I say last 3 years, remove Google Pay from the entire scenario of financial transaction, right?
Yes.
Have you seen Google Bank? I haven't, right? But imagine the kind of transaction which Google Pay has taken up, and the kind of seamlessness it has provided in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, if you just look at a QR code, the first thing to think about is Google Pay, right?
Yes.
And no other, no other tech or no other facility has even come close to it. So I think, that is how technology at the mid of disruption. And I think we as a consumer have the capability to consume it. The good part is today, from a traditional thinking, earlier banking was all about trust, right? It was about personal relationship, knowing the branch manager, understanding that, if I know the branch manager, I can get a lot of things done, right?
Yeah.
And quickly and effectively.
Yeah.
Today, technology has actually overtaken that human conscience, that basically human presence.
Yeah.
You know that at ease of your home, sitting at your chair, you can conduct all those activities without needing to visit a branch. And you can still do it more efficiently, effectively, and without any error, right?
Yes.
So that's the power of technology. And that is where we are consumed with technology.
Clearly, that dream when demonetization happened, that there would be a digital India or a cashless India, that is actually coming true. And probably your dream, this Nublo, this totally digital bank on the blockchain, probably will be culmination of what was dreamt and a actual reality of that thing happening. What that would be happening. I'm sure, I mean, at least in my heart, in my space, I am looking forward to a completely digital, completely seamless online experience. And this is what Gen Z wants nowadays. They want to buy and sell stocks on the mobile. They want to withdraw money and send money by mobile. They want to buy and sell cryptocurrency on their mobile.
I'll go even one step further. When you pay for your coffee, why you need cash?
Yeah.
Why can't you pay through crypto? Why can't you pay through your global shares? Why can't you pay through your gold and silver units?
Yes.
And our platform is going to facilitate payout, spends through any asset you hold, right?
Yes.
And that is the power of technology. That is the power of blockchain we are trying to build in banking.
Yes. So, why does the money need to come out from a mutual fund into your bank, and then from the bank comes to your hand, and then you take out that cash and pay it to the counter? Why can't I redeem my mutual fund, my investment, whichever asset I have, and the money straight away goes to the person whom I am paying? Why not? Wonderful. Such a great idea.
So this traditional layers of banking actually have created a large gap between an asset and liquidation of the asset.
Yes.
Right? The technology like blockchain actually closed that gap to a large extent. So say that you have a house valued at 1 crore. That is basically an asset value. But when you liquidate, you will take there is a lot of process, and there is a lot of time involved to liquidate that. With blockchain, you can create NFTs of that particular house, put a value, put it on Web 3.0. Somebody will identify that, pay you in Bitcoin. The entire process of registration from your name to the other person's name is happening through a smart contract, which is automatically executed. You are done within seconds. That's the power of blockchain.
Wonderful. Let me at this point introduce my co-host Abhijit Sansgiri, another one of the pillars of Bloom, one of the co-founders of Bloom. He is also a chartered accountant with how many? 35 years of experience, Abhijit?
No, not that, but that's fine. I think just some very quick questions to Kaushik before basic questions.
Yes,
so is this also regulated by the Reserve Bank of India?
So basically, there are various facets in which a fintech falls, right? So as I said that, we will be kind of a neobank who will operate under the purview of a traditional bank. So we will actually, the custodian of all the services will be a bank. But what we are doing is we are providing an experience layer, which can be the front face for the consumers.
Yes.
Right? So we definitely fall in the purview of the entire licensing and other stuff, but our backend bank is going to take care of most of them. And there will be certain licenses required, which we will definitely apply as an e-money or fintech license.
So you are basically registered not as an NBFC, but as a company.
Yeah, it is a fintech company. And our first phase launch is actually out of UAE.
And maybe another basic question is, since all of the traditional banks or the foreign banks or the private banks are also going into digital banking completely. So somebody like your Development Bank of Singapore advertises itself as a DigiBank, or there'll be various other ICICI Bank with a digital banking platform. So is there still space for a lot of fintech players which are still coming? And how much is the competition in this field?
So I'll give you a very great example. I think you would have heard about Revolut, right? Revolut is a European digital bank. 7 years in operation, it is valued at $33 billion.
Oh.
And name a bank which is valued at that huge, that huge valuation. So that is one part of the answer. Second part is, all these banks, when they say digital, obviously they're trying to compete with the fintechs of the world, and they're trying to basically improve, which is a good thing. They're trying to improve the experience layer for the end consumer.
Yes.
But ultimately, their tech, which is a monolith, or which is basically, a large traditional tech, that needs to basically adopt to the new technology. And that's going to take a lot of time for them. So while they can build one experience layer completely digital behind the back. So I'll give you a very small example. You may be sending, you may be doing an international money transfer through your mobile phone, but still it takes T+2 days to get to the recipient.
Yes.
So your front end is actually digitized, the experience part of it, but the back end and the rails still remains traditional.
Yeah.
And that's where we fintechs come in, and we disrupt and revolutionize this entire stuff.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, thank you, Kaushik. Let's go back to Sonia and ask her, where will we get the money from which we will give to you to transfer here and there? Sonia, tell us about how we can, one, save money, invest money, and plan for our future.
Yeah, so I'm taking the conversation from very high level to the very basics of earn money and what should we do with the money that we earn. So we have done a very tremendous job of now more and more women are getting financially independent, and let's see. So I would love this session, at least the initial bit of it, to be more interactive. And if we have any comments, I would love to, if Mr. Khimani can read it out for us.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's start with just the topic of money. What do we feel about money when we hear money in our lives? not all feelings are positive, not all feelings are negative. Some of us might feel scared of talking about money. Some of us might feel not really confident, or we think money might be evil, or it's the root cause of everything. All the bad things that happens is like the money, or there's self-doubt. Versus there are much more like we can even feel safe, secure, confident when we feel about money. So everybody's experience around money is very, very different. And we'll see, let us play a game of never have I ever. And I'll ask that how, when we start off as a boy or a girl, everything looks so similar, but then there is then a gap really started emerging for our lives as a man versus a woman. So I would be raise your hand, or just type I have or I have not, if you have never learned to ride a cycle, bike, or a car. I'm sure most of us have driven either of the three, and more women are now taking up driving a car, and it is really liberating when a woman drives, versus our traditional thinking that, you know, a woman cannot be a good driver, versus now everyone with more practice can drive better. And that is the thing with money. Everyone who knows about money can handle it better. Everyone who does it, who take care of money, can handle their monies better. So again, never have I ever. Let me know if you have bought a phone without knowing a feature or functions of it. As Mr. Kaushik also mentioned, that now all our lives are surrounded by phones. So we do very less of talking on phone, but like we do our work, we do our business, we do our entertainment. Everything is around our phones these days. Yes. So, right. Now let me know in the comments if you all have decided about the qualities of man I want to marry. Now, this is designed for women, so I'm not asking this question for men. That if you have ever decided on what qualities, but definitely every woman thinks about these lines, that yeah, I want my man to be like this, or be more kind, or be more, or have tall, or whatever qualities we might want in our men that we want to marry. Now, let me know if you have ever spent your money on your bag, shoes, dress, makeup, anything with more than your mom ever had, right? I mean, now we have access to money more than our moms or our grandmoms ever had. And I feel so grateful for that. And yeah, we would have definitely spent more money than our moms or our grandmoms have ever spent on any of these three, be it bag, shoes, dress, or anything. Now, whether or not, let us know if you have been responsible to order menu at a restaurant. As a woman, not only are we responsible for what is to be cooked in the household, but even when we go out in a restaurant, some of the time we are deciding on what should we order in the menu. Then let us know if you are being responsible to pay or share the bill on a date at a restaurant. Not many, right? I mean, there are still some conventional things going on that, okay, I am the man, or I am the provider, and you pay for it. Versus if you go with a chartered accountant like my husband, we have always shared our dates with our share of money. So we have equal amount of equal number of people, whether they want to share their money together, or let their husbands pay for it, or let their boyfriends pay for it. Now, saved and invested rupees 1.5 lakh rupees in a year. Now, again, with many more women coming into the workforce, I would understand that many of us would have saved at least 1.5 lakh. Invested, not entirely maybe, but we would have definitely saved up. As women, we are born there is always a capacity of saving money before we spend on big purchases. Now, as women, have we ever planned for our retirement? Answer is some, maybe, or some maybe not, like, these are the things that we are even not really thinking to be, because we are always being considered that, okay, so and so will take care of me, if my husband will take care of me, and afterwards my kids will take care of me. But not entirely may be the situation. Then whether you have planned for your investments or taxes. So again, are we asking these tough questions? These might look like very tough questions to some people, but these might look like, a normal question that we go through on a daily basis with our families or our environment, our friends. I don't think we are still discussing all of these things with our friends and our families on a daily basis as women. As men, they would certainly have a lot of such conversations among themselves. But as women, I still don't think that we are having enough conversation about these. Then plan for my money after I'm gone. Are we doing this? I mean, I know I want to give my monies, but to so and so people, but are we even understand? Do we even know about the laws that are there in the country of how my money will be treated after I'm gone, and whether it goes to the correct people after I'm gone, right? We want to make sure that our money is considered well. So I'm taking you through a story of two girls who met at the age of 22. They graduated, they started working, both at the same jobs, both have the same pay. They continued work for 5 years, and then they decided to get married. And that's when they chose two different paths for themselves. One, Sukanya, who decided to leave her job and decided to devote most of her time to her family, and versus Samriddhi, who continued with her corporate job and continued with the money. Now, 10 years later, both of them have got a kid. So Sukanya is raising a 6-year-old, Samriddhi is raising a 5-year-old, and now they are again thinking of financial independence, because when you have a son or a daughter, you want to give them the best of their lives. And again, you would want to give them independence and financial independence. And these are certain questions that we again come back to, thinking that what would it really mean to be a woman and to be a financially independent. So let's see, why is it really important even for us to be financially independent? Why? Because we as women, we live longer than men. We are now earning more than ever in the Indian history, even in as compared, like even in the world as well. The numbers are not very lucrative. Even in America, only 40% of women are working, versus like this number should be even much more. But we are earning more than ever what our moms would have earned, or what our grandmoms would have ever earned if they had even worked. Yet we are being paid less than men for the same job that we do. We are emotional about money, and 90% of us will have at some point or the other have to manage with our financials, with our finances. But are we ready to be equipped with the knowledge that we need to have? So let's discuss how do we achieve that? How do we become financially independent? So I have categorize it into 3 segments. First, create an organized system, because even if we are not doing the work consistently, if we create system that works and that does the job consistently for us. Plan for goals. So as women also, we do have a lot of goals. So we need to have our investment not just for some purpose, but we need to plan for our goals. And we as women can also provide for our kids' education, for their family, like for their marriage, or whatever plans that we have. Even at this point of time, if we ourselves want to upgrade our knowledge, then let's allocate those resources towards upgrading our knowledge and upgrading our different courses that we might want to take, then and automate that entire process, so that you don't have to work every single day, and you're not spending a lot of time in doing the same task, and you have the systems who take care of those. So how do we organize our money? First, most of us do this, that we earn money, we do our expenses, and whatever is left goes into saving. When I started my job around 15 years back, the entire first year, I have been trying to follow these steps. I would get my salary, I would spend the entire money, and I would hardly left with anything to save at the end of the month. In fact, before even the month ended, I was waiting for my next salary to kick in so that I can have all my expenses sorted around that. And that's when, after doing it consistently for more than a year, I realized something needed to be changed. And that's when I decided that what we need to do is we need to take out the savings as soon as the money hits the bank account, and whatever remains only is allowed to be spended. And how do you do that? So you have your salary account where you get your money. You transfer a bit of those salary account into your investment account, where you have all the SIPs running. All of the investments are going from this account, because you might want to change your job, and then the salary account may not be continued for a long period of time. But then your investment account is what you would align it to all your investments, and that is the account you would want to continue for a very long period of time. Now with digital banks, you might not have to go to the bank and have these accounts or things set up. Everything will be done completely online for you. But to have a system to know that this is my investment account from where I would need to make all my investments will save you a lot of time, even in preparing for your taxes, because you know where all the transactions really happened. Then from your salary account, you make major payments from the bank itself. And then for everything else, use a credit card. Now, there are many people who think that, I do not allow credit card. I do not have credit card because they are bad or something. So I would as a part of growing up, we do really need to take care of very difficult decisions at times, and decide what's right for us, what's not right for us. So there is a way of using a credit card if you want to use it correctly and want to take many of the benefits. So link all your utility bills to credit card. It will automatically pay off all those utility bills without you having to make every single payments. Redeem your credit card points regularly. Every 6 months, have a habit of redeeming those points, because for every money that you are spending on credit cards, you are earning points for that, rewards for that. Use your flight offers and lounge access. Many credit cards do offer you a priority pass access, which gives you access to lounges. And that's when, especially when you have kids, I use it all the time, and it's such a time saver plus energy saver, because you don't want to wait in a common lounge when you reach the airport at 4 in the morning and you have a sleepy toddler with you. Versus if you have a proper lounge which provides you with all the food options that a kid would love, and a good place to rest is actually the best, and you don't have to pay for it. Utilize shopping cashback offers and discounts. So many companies do offer a lot of discount if you are using a particular type of credit card. So do find out which and start using those. So these are the benefits, but then with benefits, you get a lot of discipline also you need to have. So utilize your limit so that you can pay that in full. Set a due date reminder on your calendar so that you can auto debit your full paid instructions. So never have any the minimum amount don't pay that to repay your credit card. Whatever you're spending, consider that also like your bank account, and spend only the money that you have in your bank so that you can pay your credit card in full by the end of the month. And set your credit card due date very closer to the date of your salary, so that you can you have the money to make the payments of your credit card. So how to know which one to pay? So this is how a credit card would look like. Here they will entice you to make a minimum amount pay, which is the trap. So we don't have to even look at that. We want to look at the total amount pay, and that is what we need to really make the payment of. And it also comes with a due date. So always pay your credit card before the due date to avoid any kind of interest and charges. Then let's plan for your goals. now as women, many of our times we are spending our money only on gold and on FDs, which again are very old school form of investments. And let's know what new kind of investment options do we have. So I have not really covered cryptocurrency in this financial asset because I don't really consider them as investment. Definitely, it's like a high risk, high reward thing, and you may want to continue, but then make yourself that all your financial goals are met using the traditional financial assets, and anything that you want to have extra, which you can take risk with, invest those money in cryptocurrency or other options only if you have the capability to take risk. So what is risk and what is return? Risk is the amount of risk you take to give your money to somebody with an expectation that you will get the money back along with some return, which is the return is what you get to part ways with your money. So physically, there are physical assets in which traditionally we are very used to investing our money, that is gold and that is residential houses, house properties and all of that. There are financial assets as well, which are in the form of mutual funds, stocks, PPF, FDs, ULIPs, debentures, bonds, corporate bonds, mutual funds, and there are so many different kind of financial assets in which we can invest our money. Now, let's compare the risk and return of various different types of investment options that are available. So if you have cash, I've just kept 4% because that's the saving account, that's the return saving account gives you to keep the money in the saving account. Not a good option. You should never have any extra money lying in your saving account, even if you don't know, even if there is some money lying in your saving bank account which you want to use in the next 2 or 3 months, always park it in a liquid asset or a liquid mutual fund, or in a short-term FD, which you know can give out the money when you need it. But don't park a lot of money in your saving bank account. Your money is actually getting eroded in a saving bank account. Now there are debt option. So debt basically have 2-3 different asset categories, like your FD also is a form of debt. Liquid funds also is a form of debt. Corporate deposits are also in the form of debt, and they give you a return of about 7 to 8%. Again, there could be 50 basis points up and down between these ratios. Then the third financial asset is equities. Now, most of us consider equities to be most volatile, but if you actually take a very long-term horizon of equities, they never fail to give a return of less than 15%. So you take any 15-year period of stock market since the time they have launched it, and for every period of 15 years, they have at least given a 15% return. So that's consider equity to be your long-term investment, never invest it for a shorter term, and you will definitely get a lot of better return putting your money in equity. It is very tax effective because any long-term tax gain that you get on sale of equity shares is only taxed at 10%. So even your house properties is also taxed at 20% on a longer term, but your equities has the lowest tax possible. This is again a wealth pyramid I have created to show on the risk levels, how less risky are your life insurance, medical insurance, emergency fund should be the bottom of your pyramid. And then you have your EPFs, PPFs, debt instruments. Then you go up the ladder towards your risk and invest your money in mutual fund. You have real estate and you have equity. And let's now compare returns of these 3 different options I have created. So as women, we are mostly either putting our monies in FDs or gold, and versus if we put our monies into equity. I've just given you a comparison that if we invest like 5 lakh rupees in all the 3 options with their expected rate of return, and we invest this money for 30 years, how much money will we get in all the 3 options? So if you see, FDs, we will only get 38 lakhs versus in equities, over a period of 30 years, we will get more than 33 crore rupees. And gold, again, which we feel that, it is, this is like the ultimate asset which we need to invest in, gives again a slightly higher return as compared to FD. So if we compare the multiple returns with FD being the base, then equities actually gives you like 8 times more than the money that you will get in FDs. And this is your graphical presentation of the entire, like how much more you will have in equity versus any other form of investments. So how we have discussed like what to invest in. So how should you invest in? So always align your investment purpose using 2 different methods. One is your tax saving mutual tax planning investments, and the other would be your time and goal based investments. For your tax planning, you have various options like EPF, PPF, ELSs. I'm not going into detail of all of these. If you really would want to know more about what tax deductions do we have, I have a guide which you can download it from soniadawar.com/ITR. And this guide will give you all the tax deductions that are available for an individual. For time and goal based, so always remember that anything below 3 years is kind of for your short term goals, and anything more than 3 years is kind of considered for your long term goals. And for your shorter term, always invest in less risky option, because you don't know how equity market will be after 3 years, but you will for sure know how equity market will be after 15 years, right? So always invest in debt mutual fund if you're investing less than 3 years, or invest in equities, direct equities or equity mutual fund if you're investing in more than 3 years. So that is how we need to invest our monies. There's also another way of having your age. So if your current age is, let's say, 30, you would want to invest 70, 100 minus 30, that is 70% of your asset into equities, mutual fund or direct equity, or 30% you should put in debt. And as your age progresses, like at the age of 60, you would want to have 60% of your money in debt instruments and only 40% of your money is in equity, so that you don't face the shorter term volatility of such markets while putting your money in those instruments. So when you should start, we've discussed what, we've discussed how. Let's discuss when you should start investing in to make the most of the return. So again, we've brought back the 2 friends, and let's say one friend started investing at the age of 25 and continued to invest it till she reached 55 years of age, versus her other friend Samriddhi, who started at 35, and again she although put a higher amount like 15,000 rupees, she invested up till she was 55 years. So both really invested 36 lakhs for themselves, and let's say how their wealth turns out to be at the age of 55. So for one, she gets 7 crores because she invested 10 years early, versus Samriddhi, who she only got like 2 crore rupees because she invested 10 years later. And even though she invested the same amount of money as her friend, there is a vast difference between the wealth that both have created for themselves. So the only thing here is the time, and compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world, as has been declared by Albert Einstein. One who pays it understands it, and one who doesn't understand it pays for it. So now you know that what are, so don't wait to invest. First invest and then wait. And that is actually the first thing I did at the age of 24, is when I started taking the money out before I even before the money hit it into my bank account. And that's, you know, that's the kind of confidence money gives you. You will be able to take all the tough decisions in your life if you are financially independent, or if you have financial security for yourself.
Yes, so, Sonia, thank you. What we could do is, we will actually skip this part about protecting your wealth, and we will have it as an exclusive session separately, where We will go into detail on this topic and see to it that a lot of people join in, ask, understand questions so that it can be a little bit more interactive. What is my most important takeaway from this presentation just now? Just now, as she said, don't wait, start now. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Whatever you do, give it time. We all know that compounding takes time. Whatever you do, keep on doing it regularly and let the fruits come towards the end. Abhijit, would you like to ask any question to Sonia, or should I bring in Kaushik? So Abhijit seems to have logged off. Abhijit, are you around? Oh, he is not here. So let me do one thing. Let me bring Kaushik in here, and I will just try and marry what Sonia said to what Kaushik is seeing. Kaushik, in your experience now, are you seeing more of the females, the women, come into what you are doing, dabble a little bit more in risk, in cryptocurrency? And I'll share this, my personal experience with you. Recently, some few months back, I was actually in Dubai, where you are starting your new blog. There was a group of women who were actually talking about investing in cryptos. Are tune kitna lagaya? How much money you have made? And I'm wondering what's going on. In India, we are still afraid of whether crypto is the right place to be, whether the laws are correct, whether what we are doing is allowed or not. But these women who were housewives were actually dabbling in crypto. Your views, Kaushik?
Yes, Deepak, I completely agree with you, right? And, I totally synonym with what Sonia has said. And whatever she, mentioned, those are basically that entire, attitude of investing, attitude of saving, and attitude of growing. It comes with knowledge, right? And this is where a technology, and this is where I'm just trying to marry technology with knowledge, right? This is where technology comes in very handy.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things I noted down. She mentioned about split payments, and she said that, women as a women, we basically, don't usually, keep ourselves or, make ourselves one of the party for the split payment.
Yes.
While, it's usually gents who basically take care of that.
Yeah.
Whether it is an attitude issue, whether it is the knowledge of what benefit split payments bring,
yes,
or whether it is convenience itself. So now,
yes.
imagine I give you Nublo, where actually the moment you pay through Niblo, the pop-up comes in and it says, do you want to split payment? You say yes. You just enter Sonia, and the payment request automatically goes to Sonia, and she just has to, by click of a button, her Google Pay, through a Google Pay, the amount comes to your account.
Yes.
The convenience part of this versus today, where Deepak will pay, and then tomorrow he will keep reminding Sonia that please, yesterday dinner was very expensive on my pocket. Please contribute 50%. I'm talking about the process itself.
Yes.
And this is where technology actually bring in lot of convenience and that ease of doing that particular activity.
Yes.
And men and women, right? And I'll give you another example, live example.
Yeah.
Equities she talked about.
Yes.
How many people actually, and I'm talking about 4 years, 5 years back, how many people actually used to trade in stocks?
Yes.
Very few, right?
Yeah.
And we did not understand at that time. It was always a knowledge issue.
Yes.
Now think what Zerodha has done to that entire industry. Right?
Yes.
And think what kind of people and what percentage of people are now investing versus that particular time.
Yes.
And Zerodha is a complete digital platform.
Yes.
What it only did is just put knowledge in front of you. It said, look, if you are, and it just did a comparison. Your 5,000 rupees, as she rightly pointed out in the PowerPoint, can earn 15%, right? But then you having the knowledge of that particular stock and having the time to do that research of ensuring that it is a safe investment, that itself is a lot of process and knowledge thing, right?
Yes.
If I can simplify and I can give you all those analysis at your hand and basically ask you to make a decision, I think you are going to select equity as the right investment.
Yes.
Be it a man, be it a woman.
Yes.
I mean to say banking is equally for both of them, but the confidence comes with knowledge, and confidence comes with the analysis which is in front of you. And that is what digitization, that is what the digital banks of today are actually presenting in front of you.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. My question to Sonia is, how easy is it to convince women after your presentation, after you show them, this is possible, let compounding do its job, see the difference between 5%, 8% and 15%. How easy is it to convince a women audience? If there are 100 sitting, 3 are convinced, 5 are convinced, or all 20 or all 50 are convinced?
Convincing actually comes at their own pace. Like, I can tell people that equities is like actually risk free if you're taking it into account a longer term perspective. But if they are from a background that in their families everybody have ever invested in FDs, they will take their own course of time to come to the terms that now the instruments are different and knowledge is different. Earlier, our parents, they never had the kind of information that we have now to make informed decisions. So all of those, and like actually practically coming with my own experience, we are having more and more females who are even married, having a very good earning, but they don't know anything about the money. So, and now they are coming independently, that they are asking us that I would want to take charge of my money. I would want to learn about my money and have an equitable say in the matters. So they sometimes when they are learning, they're not even telling their husbands that I'm learning about understanding about money. And I have had so many of such examples coming out. Even this year, we have been doing financial education for like last 4 or 5 years now. We have a training called Be a Feminist, and which is like feminist but having financially independent, and that's where we coined it, Be a Feminist. And after doing it consistently for over 3 or 4 years, now we are having so many females coming out and telling us that I want to take charge of my money. I'm not even telling my husband about it, because I really want to I don't know if I'm asking the right questions. So you tell me what questions I need to ask. You tell me if what I'm doing is correct or not. So things are changing. Sometimes it takes because there are generational things that we are changing right now. So it happens very slowly, but once it starts happen, we will see the trickling effect of it very fast.
I'm just taking off from where you said something in your last line. Has any lady, any girl, any woman come to you and said, I'm doing this investment through you after what you made me understand, पर मेरे husband को पता नहीं चलना चाहिए. My father shouldn't know, or my husband shouldn't know. Has that ever happened?
No, not really, because they want to learn what it means, so that they are in the say. But I don't think nobody is hiding it from their husband. No.
Wonderful. Good to know. Kaushik, my next question to you is this. Just 2 or 3 days back, I was reading this report, and I think it was in the Times of India or not, I don't remember, but it said that this digital boom which has happened ever since UPI and all these digital payments have come in is putting a lot of stress on the technology backend of banks. They are unable to handle all these, millions of digital transactions. People are sending 20 rupees to their vegetable vendor, and 5 rupees and 80 rupees and 50 rupees. The technology backend of these banks was designed 5, 8, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago. Your view on this, and how something like what you are doing, and as you said, we could become a backend or a layer upon what a bank does. Just your views on that.
Correct. So I think traditionally, if you see, a bank is supposed to provide multiple services, and it's a complete bouquet of services. It is not restricted to one particular niche. And they're licensed to do it, right? So as an entity, they will have to cater to various category of audience, and that's why they have to maintain varied infrastructure. And I'm talking about technical infrastructure. And that is how you see a multi-channel presence, right? So you have a separate department for probably a loan, you have separate department for savings, for current, for businesses and other stuff, right? And the problem is that when departments are different, the data or the information is actually stored in silos. And the amalgamation of that information on a particular platform doesn't happen. And that's why the seamlessness or that omni-channel experience is actually lacking in traditional.
Yes.
So while you are right that increased number of digital transactions would put a lot of stress on the technology part of it, but I think if you stay at the traditional tech and you want to control the latest boom in the digital revolution, you are going to fail there. So you will have to constantly upgrade not only your infrastructure, but the backend technology which is being used. And you have to basically get driven by what's being done out in the world. And blockchain is, I just wanted to bring in blockchain. And blockchain is one such a technology, right? And I'll just give a little brief about blockchain just for understanding. So today what happens is when you're talking about Google Pay, you're talking about Amazon Pay and others, there is plenty of data which a consumer provides, right, during these transactions. And all these data is being stored somewhere centrally, right? So Amazon has a server somewhere, Google has a server somewhere, and the data is actually stored centrally. Now imagine, and we have seen that many incidences currently, Akasa, data leak. Earlier there were NPCI data leak, all that stuff where your data or consumer data is actually compromised and somewhere it is misused, right? While we don't care about it at the time of giving the information, but ultimately it hounds us through another route, right? Whether it is fraud, AML and other stuff. So that's basically where the traditional infrastructure of storing data centrally and making it prone to such attacks actually doesn't work. Now, what blockchain brings is a completely opposite. It is a distributed ledger platform, right? So data is never stored at a single central location, but it is stored, amongst various nodes, right? And each node is in itself a database, right? Which is real-time updated. And all your transactions or the information of the transactions are actually stored in various blocks, which are connected to each other, the previous and the next transaction, next block by a chain. That's why it is called as blockchain. The difficult part of it is that attacking one particular block, you have to alter the entire chain. So that's why it is not possible to basically attack and alter the data or use the data in that particular block. Second is we call it is, blockchain as immutable. So today what happens is when a data is present, you can actually alter the data. You can override the data. But in a blockchain technology, for every correction, there is a new transaction which comes and which is stored in a separate block. So you basically have a history of what went wrong, who did wrong, when was the transaction, and every transaction is timestamped. It is basically linked with the person who has created it. There is something called as a consensus. So there is no one person approving it. So today, if you see, the best verification model followed in a finance industry is maker-checker, right? That's a two-way, verification model. But here, there is blockchain, there is something called as consensus. Consensus is a verification mechanism which needs to be approved by all the nodes participating, right? And it depends on, so if there are 100 nodes participating, only only highest of the 100, right? So only 50 plus nodes, if they agree to a particular transaction, then only the transaction is approved and added to the block, right? So it's a varied technology, but what it does in the back end, right? It is a peer-to-peer node, right? So your transaction is not geographically dependent. It can travel anywhere. It is immutable, as I said, so you can't alter the transaction. Imagine you lost one database. You have hundreds of other databases. It can be replicated easily. I mean to say it can basically be recovered easily. There is a consensus mechanism where a verification is not happening by one person or two person. So the chance of error is completely done, right? So these are basically the advantages why technology like blockchain are the future, and they are going to drive not only banks, but most of the monolith systems which exist today.
Yeah, my last question to you before I open up the room for questions from all the participants. Clearly from what you are saying, all banks will have to either become fintechs or banks will have to buy out all these fintechs which are creating these unique layers.
That's the easier way.
Which camp are you on? I am a startup. I've created a fintech. I've spent X amount of money and I will become a unicorn in 3 years.
Look, I think, I don't know about that, that end result. But at this point, I just believe one thing, that if customer is at center of your product or any solution, I think that product or that solution will actually grow, right?
Wonderful.
And more than growing, it will create a trend in the in the industry. It will basically disrupt the industry, where people will take lessons from you. There may be many competitors. There may be, many competitors will come. There will be banks who will be competing with us. But that is good for us, right? That is good for, well-being of humankind.
Yes.
Right? So earlier there were banks, then UPI came, then Google Pay, Phone Pay.
Yes.
In spite or despite of this competition, actually the digital transaction is rising.
Yes.
And everybody is benefiting with that. So competition and adoption of new technology in our world, in banking and finance industry, is actually good. And this is what Nublo wants to achieve, and Nublo wants to put a trend in this industry.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaushik, for sharing. My last question to Sonia before I open up the room is this. Sonia, has somebody ever come up and told you, thank you, Sonia, for showing me the light, for showing me the way. I started investing ABC 2 years ago, and today I'm on my way to my financial goal.
Yes, in fact, I would share with you something that is so personal. And so I and my husband, we have been advising our clients for last 10 years now. And so now, like over a period of 10 years, your clients become your family, right? And there have been quite a lot of instances where the uncle, I mean, we used to actually refer to him as uncle, in two different families. And in both the cases, in one of the family, actually the uncle was like he was not keeping well towards the end. And he is like, now his daughter really decided not to marry. So he had a daughter and a wife who is going to be, taking care of their finances after he's gone. And he has actually, like, he has told us that it is because of both of you, I can die peacefully. And that is, I believe, is the best compliment anybody could give for the services that they are giving. And it's not just one. I mean, I have heard this from another uncle this year, that he has no questions at all of like how his daughter, again, for the second one, his daughter is a divorcee, so she doesn't have a husband. She has two twins. Both the twins have actually got colleges in the UK. So I mean, they know that the money will come whenever they would need it. And the fact that he can die peacefully because his daughter has somebody to look after for their monies and their finances and their wealth, and there is no worry. In fact, even this pandemic, most of the people that we've worked with have never had to worry about money, because they know that they are financially secure. They know that they are financially they can take care of anything that is to come up.
Your financial advisor is part of your family, trust him or her, and then you can be rest assured that everything will be taken care of. Thank you for sharing that, and as a host, I get the chance to just show off a little bit of myself, what I do. Sonia spoke about compounding, and this is my book, Compounding the Eighth Wonder. Yeah. So Deepak Aarke Mani naam dikhta hai. There it is. Yes. Yeah, so that's my book. I've written on compounding, and there it is. Yes, Compounding the Eighth Wonder. So an author of an Amazon bestseller book. Same. I do exactly what you do, Sonia, probably a little bit differently. And we have two very, real well-wishers of ours who are present in the room. Dr. Ajay Kumar ji, if you are listening to me, if you can unmute yourself and say a few words.
Thank you, first of all, to all the participants and the viewers here, and to our two very superheroes of the day, Sonia Dawarji and Kaushik Kumar. Special thanks out. I approached Kaushik. That's what I keep on doing. People who know me, that getting them off from the slip or catching them in flight and asking them to speak on some platform. But I'm used to, so I keep on taking revenge because the TV does offend with me. I don't know about my schedule, so I keep on taking revenge with my well-wishers, my friends. So my thanks. And of course, big congratulations to Team Bloom for making it really big. We are on the second anniversary, clocking probably 120th speaker, a track record without a single break over 2 years. So all my kudos and congratulations to great team led by Payal, Deepak ji, Abhijit, Harish ji, and everybody, Brenda. And it's a now really an international phenomena, and people do talk about the Bloom in this part of the world at Delhi, and I'm sure my all the best wishes to Team Bloom. And then if you want me to talk something, you all know I'm an advocate and I'm a devil advocate, so I'm not going to agree with anything which is being said here. But that doesn't mean I this agreement is for adding another angle, taking it forward. So first, let me come with Sonia ji talking of money. Money is very, I love money. I mean, it's dear to my heart. Sonia, I'm working on a program with Amity University where we have stabilized a center and we work with the corporate. My take and my views on everything which is happening in India is very different. Be it GDP, be it compounding, be it the symbol of money, be it the progress, and being a lawyer, I talk with evidence and facts.
Yes.
It's nothing hollow, nothing here, nothing emotional. Hardcore facts, I think both Kaushik and Sonia would love, because they also work on proven blockchain and numbers.
Yes.
Tell me one thing, Sonia, you said women in India, when it comes to investing, compounding, taking financial decisions, if that been the case, how come the goddess of wealth could be Lakshmi?
Yeah.
And the accountant would be Kuberji. So actually, it's the Western concept which has got imprinted during the British rule.
Yes.
And that's why we are seeing this, and we need heroes like Sonia to change the trend. Everything needs to be redefined. When I say by Hinduism, I don't mean Hinduism as a religion.
Yes.
I mean the way of life. I gave you one example.
Yes.
In our system, the goddess of wealth is Lakshmi. The bookkeeper is Kuber. Now we are saying other way. We are saying, no, decision maker is man and the woman is the artifact.
Yes.
So that day Sonia would be able to, and Kaushik with his technology, re-establish this 5,000 years back of the Hindu system of finance.
Yes.
Hindu system of wealth. I think India is done. India is done, and India would be a best.
We are truly on the way to becoming Sonia ki chidiya. Exactly. Yes.
Now coming to that Sonia ki chidiya, I have another take. You are saying Sonia ki chidiya. If it is fact, welcome. If it is myth, let's forget.
Yes.
मेरे बाबा के पास हाथी था, मेरे पास चैन है. अब कब उसमें कौशिक जी लगाएंगे. मेरे पिताजी घी खाया करते थे, लेकिन आज महंगा हो गया, मैं नहीं खा सकता, मेरी हथेली सूख लो. So if Sonia ki chidiya is a myth, let's forget. But if it is a fact, then let's decode it.
Yes.
What was the contribution of India in the world economy?
Yes.
Before the Britishers came?
Yes.
27%. Single-handedly.
Yeah.
Am I talking hardcore evidence numbers?
Yes.
What is our contribution in world economy today? So have we progressed? Are we progressing? Or are we marching backward?
Yes.
Patna used to be the international port.
Yes.
I'm not talking of Mumbai, Mundra, and new ports coming up.
Yes.
Patna, center of India somewhere.
Yes.
Not bound by sea, landlocked estate, international port.
Yes.
Have we progressed? Is India is progressing? Or are we still on the backward journey?
Yes.
So the moment we start seeing things from the Hinduistic point of view, every meaning is going to change. And that's what I'm trying to do, being tied up with the corporate and change everything, law and order, society, wife, the meaning of husband, the meaning of, because all what we have learned so far and believe in is influenced under that British culture, which was not our own, which was not our unique thing. Let's learn to thrive on our strength.
Yes.
We can't be a copycat and claim to be a best brew.
Yes.
We can't, we know India has to admit this. We can't compete by raising an army equivalent to China.
Yes.
Or an army equivalent to USA.
Yes.
So the moment we give a call of being a world power, by building our army capabilities, I think it is not going to work.
Yes.
So India will have to focus, look inward and its inherent strength.
Yes.
With a word of caution for Kaushik and for all the listeners over here.
Yes.
He's talking of technology and a lot of improvement. Of course, it is welcome.
Yeah.
But somewhere, even all these fintechs, inventors and digital have to be very careful about the law.
Yes.
Because yesterday only you have seen the raid on Paytm, Razorpay, CBI raid.
Yeah.
So while marching on supersonic speed of technology, great.
Yes.
But not keeping up with the law would land you in trouble.
Yes.
Would land you trouble. You can't ever make a successful life, forget about business, without following the basics of the law.
Yes.
And the position of the law, as far as India is concerned, my dear friend, is so pathetic, so bad, that I will not give the example of Kaushik and why raid on Razorpay or we have new digital lending norms. We have new norms by RBI to monitor these digital lending apps.
Yes.
A few recommendations are still pending.
Yes.
I believe here I can see 20 odd participants on the screen and a lot of us are watching on the Facebook. Everybody would have a website. Let's run a reality check. If you can give me, Deepakji, another 1 minute. Everyone having website here? Let's raise your finger. 3. My open challenge and 5,000 reward. If you prove your website to be a legal entity, I will give 5,000.
Wow.
I know it is not a legal entity. Getting a website is a norm.
Yeah.
You go to a developer, you get your website designed. Now, what website does?
Yeah.
Website suddenly puts your business open to the entire world.
Yes.
From any part of the world, people can do business with you.
Yes.
What do you do? Immediately you collect data.
Yes.
Cookies. Kaushik was talking. You're collecting my information.
Yes.
Means you are evading my privacy.
Yes.
And tomorrow the data breach takes place. I'm going to sue you. I have given this data to you. You have collected my data on your website. It may be my website of 4C Lucrative Partner. So what is the way out? What is the safeguard? You're sitting in Mumbai, Sonia ji's very beautiful presentation and website. So I send you a legal notice and lodge an FIR yesterday in Singhu Texting in Orissa. Will you come and face it? Because by your website, by your suggestion, I put an FIR against your company, your suggestion in Dubai.
Yes.
What is the way out?
Yeah.
So this is the reality check. I'm sorry for being harsh.
Yeah.
But Satyam Buryat, तो सत्य अप्रिय होता है, मुझे कहना पड़ा, माफ कीजिएगा. अगर मुझे आपको बचाना है तो कड़वी दवाई देनी पड़ेगी. बिल्कुल. So this is the state of affair when it comes to law and the fintechs or finance or the compounding.
Yes.
And so Kaushik has long way to go. Do marry finance with the technology, but don't forget the witness law.
थैंक यू अजय जी, आपने हमारी आंखें खोल दी. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसके बारे में हम सोचते नहीं हैं, लेकिन लॉ के सामने, जैसे कहते हैं लॉ इज ब्लाइंड, आंखें, वो देवी जो बेचारी है उसकी पट्टी लगी हुई है, वो लेफ्ट राइट आगे पीछे नहीं देखती है. उसके पास जो नंबर, जो फैक्ट्स आप प्रेजेंट करेंगे वो वहीं पर वैसे ही समझा जाएगा, देखा जाएगा और शायद उसके ऊपर डिसीजन भी आ जाएगा. थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग योर थॉट्स. थैंक यू फॉर बीइंग अ वेल विशर फॉर ब्लूम. Thank you, Kaushik and Sonia, today for joining us. It is 1:47 on a Sunday afternoon. I'm sure our family is waiting for us to join them for lunch. Till we meet again, I'm sure Kaushik and Sonia, both of you, we will get you again on another program, another show, detailing what you want your message to go out to the people, and a proper, question and answer session with our viewers. Thank you for joining in. Hope to see you again next Sunday on another talk show of the Bloom Talk Show on Sunday. Before we close, a few words from Payal.
Thank you so much. Thank you, beautiful speakers, for gracing Bloom platform on a special occasion today. Thank you, Ajay sir, for removing time and sharing some important pointers. Thank you, Harish sir, for always being loyal to us. Yes. And giving us blessings. September 5th, 2020, we started with one talk show with all the team supporting us. And I had no idea that how we came so far. It is all because of your love, your blessings, with all the speakers who were graced so far. Thank you so much, because you complete us. Without you, Bloom is incomplete. And so also our beautiful audiences. God bless you.
Payal, let me take 2 or 3 names before we officially close. Thank you, Thomas Varghese sir, for joining in. Thank you, Brenda, for always being there. And thank you, as Payal said, Harish Mehta ji, for always giving your support, for always being there when we need you. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless us all. Have a great day. See you next Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me just say one thing here.
Sure, Thomas, sir. Looking forward to listening to you. Please, a few words. Yes.
So first and foremost, I must compliment the speakers. I joined a bit late, but I could hear everything that Sonia had to say. And I think what she said, if it's communicated to every woman, particularly a working woman or even a homemaker who is able to actually take the advice on investments and start investing early on, it will lead to a huge amount of woman empowerment. And I think kudos to the work that they're doing. And I think the talk on technology and the new kind of instruments are very enlightening. I think the comfort that Kaushik gave in terms of the safety, accuracy, the fact that it's immutable, the fact that, there is even if it's a blockchain, the extent of confidence is very high. All these will give investors more confidence in future to invest deeper in new instruments also. So I think a wonderful show, and I'm so glad I joined. Thank you, Sonia and Kaushik. Wonderful job.
Thank you, Thomas sir, for your support always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. God bless you.